Don't you just absolutely love it when somebody tries to have small talk with you about, like, I don't know, the weather? Yes, I know it's hot outside. We all have swamp ass. You smell like armpit and ass juice. We get it. It's hot. We don't have to have this entire conversation. We're probably strangers anyways. Like, we can just stand next to each other in absolute silence. I'm okay with it. Let's move on with our lives, okay? Anyways, guys, let's get serious here for a second, or maybe not so serious. We're talking about more Aliexpress knockoff action figures, and I know to a lot of people, these type of videos are like absolutely triggering because they're like hardcore Hasbros. They're just absolute loyalists to the OM, and so I guess if you're those kind of people, this type of video won't sit really well with you guys. But as I said, this is just kind of me looking at some really cool knockoff figures from AliExpress, maybe some cool accessories that I find along the ways. I've said this before, but there are some really cool, neat figures from AliExpress that are not necessarily just knockoff. Sometimes they'll add like extra accessories or some articles of clothing or a new head sculpt or things of that nature. And so they add more value. It doesn't feel like so much as a knockoff figure, more as a custom figure from an overseas retailer, which I think is pretty cool. These type of videos have no real objective. It's just about having fun and just throwing out some figures to you guys that you guys may be a little bit interested in. And as I said, if you guys want to check them out, I'll try to post a link in the description. I'm very bad at it, and sometimes I'll like start the video and then edit it, and then I'll try to go back and find the links, and then I can't find the listings. They're either sold out or I'm just a buffoon. And you know, I just completely lost what the title of the listing was. So I'll try to do my best to try to throw up the links for you guys in case you guys are ever interested in any of the figures. I will say, and I should clarify, these aren't like affiliate links. I don't make any money off of it. I'm just, you know, just doing it for the sake of sharing some content with you guys. So as always, if you guys enjoy this type of rambling content, make sure to stay tuned, and let's get straight into it. Let's not waste any more breath or saliva. Let's get straight into the first listing, which isn't necessarily a figure, but they are offering those sleeveless arms for your Wolverine Marvel Legends action figure. This has actually been something that a lot of customizers have done overseas and, you know, shipped it over to the States, or there are some here locally within the States that are customizing their figures to appear this way. We know the bare arms are more accurate, or are 100% accurate to the source material, whereas in the sleeved ones just make absolutely no sense. We've kind of talked about this incessantly, but essentially the film creators, or I should say the toy manufacturers, get concept art from the actual film creators, and sometimes they're based on concept art or old designs. They may decide to change up the suit or change up the colors, or, you know, alternate something within maybe like a year or so of, you know, going into the actual filming process. And so sometimes a lot of what the toy manufacturers throw out like day one or even before the film is released is inaccurate, and so they have to go back and probably re-release it with, you know, the accurate paint applications or an accurate head sculpt or things of that nature. So now you get an opportunity to do this pretty affordable, if you ask me. I'm not sure if these just like port on easily to your action figure. I'm sure you have to do a little bit of customizing. Maybe you have to shave a little bit off of those little pins that insert into the torso, so just keep that in mind. But for the most part, it doesn't appear that you have to do anything too crazy. They also have a listing for the Civil War MCU Captain America, and I couldn't quite tell what the difference is here between the original one and this one, because I don't own that many MCU action figures. But it's a pretty interesting price point. You're looking at about like $5 if you're a new member, or if you create a new account, which honestly doesn't sound like that big of a risk when you consider everything that goes into this figure. Not to mention Hasbro is actually starting to re-release a lot of their MCU figures. They're not really doing anything different to them. They're just re-releasing them in new packaging for some of the newer collectors that probably haven't been collecting MCU figures, or, you know, didn't pick up any of the original MCU figures. This is a perfect opportunity if you don't want to pay like that $20-$25 price point. As I said, it's a low risk, high reward type of situation. If for $5, you end up getting a very good addition to your MCU display in the form of a Captain America, then I think you make it out. And even if it's like a $5 not so great action figure, you can always go back and just customize it, or, you know, replace the head sculpt or whatever it is that it needs. I also thought that I would reiterate this particular listing, even though I think I've already mentioned it on the channel. They usually have like retro carded Ben Reilly's or retro carded animated Spider-Mans. And then they have like even the symbiote suit. They may have the retro carded Venom, the VHS 2-pack with the symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage. They have Miguel O'Hara, so on and so forth. They have quite a few offerings. You just have to like, you know, click through it and decide what figure it is that you want. However, I did not see the last time that I went on this particular listing, I did not see the newest Gwen, which is from the Across the Spider-Verse film. So if you guys are interested, that has recently been added to this particular listing. Most of the other figures I'm pretty sure we've already covered on like previous videos, but that's one of the newer action figures. If you guys are interested, or if you guys are having trouble finding out in the wild, you can now pick up this particular figure. And it is worth mentioning that almost all of the single carded action figures are going for roughly anywhere between the lines of like $8 to $12, even as high as $15. And then like the 2-pack VHS is going for about $20. So as I said, we know they're knockoffs, we know they don't have the highest of quality, but at that price point, I definitely think it's worth a try. And if you're not quite impressed with what we've been mentioning thus far, I did also run across this Marvel Legends Juggernaut action figure. Now, I'm not sure if this is based on the Build-A-Figure or the re-released version, which came in a Colossus 2-pack, if I'm not mistaken, but you do get the extra head as well as the extra hands, and this figure does appear to have some really good ratings. A lot of different people that purchased the action figure are very happy with it. I think some people may have had some minor issues with the figure, but most of that had to do with like switching out the hands and how tight they fit in there. Same thing with the head sculpt, but in terms of quality, articulation, paint application, most of the people that purchased the figure actually gave it some raving reviews, which is really cool, especially at that price point. I haven't checked this particular figure in recent time, but I know for a long extended period of time, this figure was going for roughly like $80 to $90, depending on which version you want it, whether it was the 2-pack or the Build-A-Figure version. Regardless, you can now pick it up for roughly about $20. And then I did also run into this Marvel Legends Carnage action figure from the Venom Let There Be Carnage film, and I have to say, I genuinely enjoyed the first Venom film, but as a whole, the trilogy just didn't hit it for me, so I didn't pick this figure up. Not to mention, even though it does have like a plethora of great tendril accessories or weapon accessories, you also have the great sculpting all over the body. I love the head sculpts. I love the size of this figure. It's supposed to be close to like 9 inches, so you definitely get your money's worth in terms of plastic, but I didn't love the design of the figure overall. You did have like some really weird, long, lanky limbs. The figure just looked so disproportionate. It just didn't make sense in my mind's eye of what Carnage is supposed to look like. And I get it. It is, you know, accurate to the source material, but I just didn't necessarily love it. I will say I like the idea behind this particular Carnage, like make it a deluxe figure, maybe like a comic book accurate Carnage with a bunch of extra tendrils, even if that means you have to, you know, mark up the price just a little bit. But if we get anywhere near the amount of extra accessories that we got with this particular Carnage, I think most people would be extremely happy. Now, I did check up on this figure, and it is going for a little bit more than the original retail price point, which I think was like $50, which is what you're paying for a used one now. So this has gone up quite a bit in value. If you guys are interested in this particular figure from Aliexpress, it is definitely much affordable than its original counterpart. So there you guys have it. I'm not going to rant too long here. I just wanted to showcase some of the newer listings that I saw for Marvel Legends on Aliexpress. If you guys are interested in checking it out, definitely go ahead and look it up. I will post links in the description. However, I will say I don't know how long they're going to be up. Sometimes I'll start recording a video, and then literally within the next 2-3 days after I start recording, the actual item sells out. But I will still post a link in the description if you guys are interested in any of these figures. I will probably do another video sometime soon in terms of accessories. I always like to share with you guys my personal finds on Aliexpress. It's a really cool website. I know it doesn't give you like the best quality, but sometimes you can take a little bit of a risk, especially considering the figures are, you know, very affordable. I've I've heard some great things about like CT toys, Marvel Legends knockoffs, even DC Multiverse knockoffs. They usually hold up in a display pretty well, even for like hardcore collectors. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to stay tuned. We do upload pretty consistently. We ramble on about action figures. I think we're up to like 4 to 5 times on a weekly basis, and I would like to ramp it up. We have kind of a little bit of a backlog of content. It's stuff that's just edited, ready to go, but I don't want to like bombard people or just have a giant content dump on you guys. So definitely stay tuned. We will be uploading way more consistently. If you guys, as I said, like this type of content, let me know down below in the comment section as well what kind of content you guys would like to see for the video or for the channel moving forward. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to enjoy the hobby, pose your action figures, take pictures of them, play around with them, just enjoy them. I think sometimes we forget to do that because, action figure collecting can get pretty intense, but make sure to enjoy them. That's the most important part of all this. Stay safe out there. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.